Hey, folks, welcome to the second season of Bison Break, presented by Bison Express. I'm your host, Rob Black Jr., and we have an exciting show today. We're going to talk about all things Bison Express. We're going to talk about some of the rich history of Bison Express, some of the things that we've done in partnering with the university and its athletics program, the things that we're seeking to accomplish this year, academic school year, and helping our student athletes become the best versions of themselves. But guess what, folks? I got something else that's going on. I want you to meet the board members that are behind this fantastic organization. You'll be able to see exactly how they've supported the university and some of the things they're seeking to accomplish this year. So you don't want to miss out on the show. It's a fantastic show. Stay tuned, stay connected, and I'll check you out in a minute. Now I want to bring up the chair of Bison Express, Bruce Willis. Hey, Bruce, how's it going?
I'm good, Rob. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm fantastic. Well, this is our first season, our first episode of Bison Express Season 2. So I'm excited to bring you guys up and really talk about Bison Express, some of the wonderful things that you've been doing over the last couple of years. But first, let's start from the beginning. Exactly what is Bison Express? How did Bison Express form? And how have we been able to support the university over the last couple of years?
Well, Rob, it's a great question. Bison Express has been around for more than 3 decades. It started off as a foundation with the purpose of trying to have a group to support Howard athletics. And it started that way as a foundation. And they decided, as it evolved into, well, let's recognize some of our former athletes. They wanted to do that. They also wanted to support financially the existing athletes. And that's kind of how it started. And then it evolved from Bison Foundation to Bison Express. And then we started to have Hall of Fame awards to honor those athletes who had gone and paved the way for the athletes in those days in the 80s. And that's kind of how we started. So we started as an upgrowth from people who were interested in athletics. They were all volunteers, as is the current board. Mm-hmm. And they just really had a purpose. A lot of them were season ticket holders across the 3 major sports. And that's what they wanted to do. So that's kind of how it started. But let me tell you my why.
Okay.
My why is I'm a kid from Washington, D.C., grew up within a mile of Howard University, was born at the Howard University Hospital, then called Freedman's.
Okay.
Dating myself. And to be honest with you, I played football and basketball in high school, but much better football player, but never had Howard on my radar until my senior year when they offered me a scholarship. And applied late, and they, offered me a scholarship, and, Howard's forever, changed my life. Okay. And as a result of that, it's just, I look at my life, I look at past, Howard has had a significant role in my life, even to this day. And so I said to myself, once I finish working and doing things, I want to go back and see if I can volunteer to help my university out that gave me the opportunity to educate myself. And I was the first male in my family history, which dates back to the early 1800s, that went to college. Mm-hmm. So we I've had 2 cousins who had gone and had degrees, both went to South Carolina State, just where my folks are from, but I'm the first. And so for that's the reason that I volunteer. Now, if you look at how we've involved, we have a partnership both with the university, because we're chartered with the university as the fundraising arm for Howard Athletics. And that's a charter that the Bison Express works under. And we have, those chartered rules that we adhere to. And the other one is with the athletic administration and trying to fill the gaps that they have in their budget, be it, helping out with things like the scoreboard, the video scoreboard, helping out with the academic center, helping out with the new weight room and things like that, helping out with trips overseas, things that we've done for the volleyball team. Just recently went to Africa. We gave a big help there. We've had the swim team go down to Florida during semester break just to get out of the cold and go down and stuff and build teamwork. We've supported that. We've supported the softball team as well, going to Puerto Rico to practice when it was snowing here to get ready their season because it starts in March.
Right.
So we've done things like that. Those are some of the bigger things. The other things is we've provided forums for our student athletes. We've had forums about how to fill out your resume, things to expect in businesses. We've held several discussions that way. And we've also, when our athletes are seniors, we've helped mentor. Here's how you find a job. Our board has been very willing to share their resources and connections to help our student athletes get off the way. And there's a long list of that. We've helped people get into med school. We've helped people, go to law school. We've done a number of things like that. We've helped with people who have finished and had an extra year and didn't have financial support. And we've had board members write checks to help them. So we've tried to do everything possible to help our student athletes continue to progress in life beyond their areas of sports. So, and we've done that as well. I think the biggest thing that we do is we love Howard.
Yes.
And I think that's first. It starts with love.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it with one of my favorite passages in the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13. It ends with, you should have faith, hope, and love. But the most important of that is love. And I think that's why we do what we do for university. Now, we have a great board. It's not me alone. We have a great board. They do an excellent job, not only financially supporting Howard, but also raising money to help our student athletes. And so with that, I'd like to introduce you to two of my colleagues on the board, and that would be Thomas Payne and Tonya Wilbon.
Hey, folks.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Oh, it's a good day.
Good day.
Any day above ground is a good day, isn't it?
It's a good day.
Well, I'm glad you guys are able to jump on. This is really exciting for us to be able to have the board member to see exactly, the faces behind Bison Express, because a lot of times our members and our users online be able to see some of the things, initiatives we're doing on social media and on our website, but now let's actually see a face behind some of the people that are driving some of the initiatives and really trying to support our student athletes. So, Tommy, if you could take a couple of minutes, maybe just share exactly your experience with the university, and also how did you jump on with Bison Express?
Sure. So I'm Thomas Payne. That's Payne. And so I've been, Bruce and I actually came in together 1970 and played football.
What position? What position?
I was a receiver.
Okay.
And every day, because Bruce was a defensive back, we played against and worked out against each other every single day.
That explains everything.
Every single day.
That explains everything.
I didn't win every single practice session. They cheated a lot.
There's a thing going on here.
And they really did, and I got to give them credit that they won all kind of NCAA awards and accolades because they were very, very, very good. So it made us better as receivers because they were so good, and probably still hold a few records now. There was a group called the Fleesome Foursome. And at that time, they intercepted the ball with great regularity. And Bruce, I got to give him credit, leads the certainly Howard and probably the MEAC in interceptions throughout probably for the year, and as a 4-year career, he probably is the leading interceptor, certainly at Howard. He intercepted more balls than a lot of people caught as a receiver. So we give him that credit, but we also say they would cheat and hold, a lot of stuff like that. And I can talk about that for a while because it happened almost every single day. So anyhow, let me just say, after graduation one day, one of the coaches at that time was a renowned Bill Moultrie. Bill Moultrie later on became really an outstanding, he wasn't already an outstanding track coach, and he took Howard University to great heights. But he also was the athletic director. And after I graduated from Howard one day, I came up on campus and I saw him. And I looked over at the track and at the field, and the field looked remarkably like the field was when we played. It was, by the time October came, no grass was on the field. It was dust.
That's a heck of a story.
It rocks, gravel. It was as hard as cement. And I said, and the track was a cinder track. Cinders like he had back in the 50s and 60s. Jesse Owens ran on the track, a cinder track. Okay. So I said to Coach Moultrie, I said, Coach, you're the athletic director, man. I said, well, how come this still looks like it was when we played? And he said, Payne, how much money have you given university? I thought about that for a second. I said, and it only took a second because I hadn't given any money. So he said, well, how can, he said, look, man, we need some help. And that kind of stuck with me, Rob, for a while. That I said, I can complain, and I'm a good complainer. And but I wasn't a good supporter of the university financially. I hadn't been out of school long, but that was still no excuse for not being able to give $5, $10, $15 or something at that time. So when I heard about Bison Express, and I heard about it first, Karen House, and I'll use her name, I hope she won't mind, was a worker there at the university, and she was working in the president's office or somewhere like that, and then to athletics. And I remember receiving something in the mail, talked about Bison Express and about supplemental funding, and can you give money to help, not to build a stadium, but to help small ways to give back to the athletic department. And that I joined to be a member, and that was 25 years ago, maybe something like that. And I've been a member. And then when Bruce ascended to the to the board, I said, well, we go in kind of as a team, and we have Warren Craddock. The three of us certainly have played football together, and we're on the board. And that was my long-winded around the house. There used to be a little house on the football field, and that's a whole nother story, where they used to store stuff on the house, and that's where Bruce and the defensive backs would run around the track and stop. Instead of doing a full lap, they stop, going in the house, get a little something to eat and drink, and then while we all were did what we're supposed to do. But that's again, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus if they don't.
Not at all, Tommy. Not at all, Tommy.
Not at all. That's my. Oh yeah, and I'm the treasurer of Bison Express. I forgot that. I'm the treasurer. I used to be the vice chair, and then you try to get better. So they moved me, and I'm treasurer now, and so soon I'll be shown the door out. But right now I got the keys. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, excellent. All right, Tonya, you are up next. Tell us about your journey with Howard University, and exactly how did you come onto the board with these fine gentlemen?
Well, hello, everyone. First, I have to give my disclaimer. Any relevance to these stories these gentlemen have does not equal my age, right? Younger than these two guys, all right. But when I hear Tommy throw out names like Coach Moultrie and they resonate, I'm like, oh yeah, those were times that I was there. And especially the time of cheering in what we affectionately called Green Stadium, the Dust Bowl. So I'm dating myself now. So guys, you won't hear this ever again that I'm in your category. But as Tommy and Bruce have indicated, it's that love for Howard University that really compels you to come back and do more for the university. So as Tommy shared, when I was there, I was a cheerleader at Howard University. Yay. 1983-87, cheered my first year in that Dust Bowl. Now imagine trying to cheer and knowing that by the next game, which is every Saturday, you had to be inspected by my then coach, Brenda G. Jenkins, who was inspected from top to bottom and cheering in that Dust Bowl. So, Tommy, we were grateful that the next year, my sophomore year, we had that track and we no longer had to wash and bleach socks and shoes. And we were definitely grateful for having some level of safety a bit, trying to do stunts on there as a cheerleader, flips, tumbles, cheering and everything. So we got that. But also, matriculating through Howard 83-87 as a cheerleader, we did not get a lot of support from the financial support, that is, from the university, because they were trying to decide, are we athletes or not? And of course, we will say from day one and forever, we are athletes. We compete, we work out, we strength. How many of you all can bench press a whole body, right? And keep it straight in the air. So we've always had to fight that battle, but we were grateful for Howard University Alumni Cheerleader Association at that time, who was supporting us. So I was familiar with Bison Express only by the name, nothing more, as a Howard student, and didn't know a lot about it. It wasn't until after I had graduated. And a few years ago, I can't remember exactly when, but there was a display in Spingarn Library. They were displaying mementos from the athletic department, and the band had their uniforms there. And our coach reached out because they reached out to her. They wanted some cheerleader outfits there. So we all went, she wanted us to come and support. We went, and then there was a speech by then Bison Express president. Bruce, it may have been you, but I'm not sure. It may have been Johnny, can't think of his last name. But they did a speech and they talked about how much they support the athletic department. And I'm like, well, do the cheerleaders get money? No, they're still in the same struggle as I was. And, we love cheering. We love sports. We love cheering for whether they were cheating Tommy or not. It was still Howard. And at the same time, we knew we wanted to look good. Howard, we're first in fashion, right? So we wanted to look good. You need money to have new uniforms, enough pom-poms and everything else. So I started asking Brenda about it, and she said, yeah, she would donate every now and then, but she wasn't aware of the support that they gave to the cheerleaders. So we started asking around. At that time, I only knew of the infamous Paul Cotton, Dr. Paul Cotton, as a board member. So I reached out to him and said, hey, I want to get on this board. What do I need to do? And he said, all I need to do is know him. He said, Bruce and Tommy did not matter. Just know Paul. But at any rate, Paul,
that would be Paul.
Said, yeah, certainly. We want someone to represent cheerleaders. We do support the cheerleading team. And to my surprise, they did. They actually had a line item of funds for cheerleaders. Every now and then we would donate. So because of that, I said, yeah, let me get in here and continue to advocate. I now currently serve as a co-chairman of the membership committee on the board for the organization, where we're trying to get more Howard alumni and friends and families to support the organization, to really provide the financial support that Howard University Athletic Department needs to go further, to excel. And that includes supporting the band as well as the cheerleaders. They are student scholar athletes as well, and they need that support. And I'm definitely appreciative of what I've seen Bison Express done. Since I've been a part of the board, they've donated thousands to the cheerleading programs to ensure they have safety mats, new uniforms. So I've seen firsthand the support that Bison Express provides for the entire athletic department. And so I'm forever committed. I'm not going to be president. Let me put that out there, but forever committed to supporting Bison Express because of the outstanding work they do in supporting Howard University Athletic.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot going on with Bison Express, and we've contributed a lot over the last couple of years to the athletics program. Now, there's another endeavor that I think is near and dear to a lot of our members as well as to the board members' hearts. Bruce, can you explain exactly what is the Hall of Fame, how it came to be, and explain what this year's Hall of Fame is all about?
Well, yes. So as I mentioned earlier, at the introduction, that one of the things that the Bison Express board does is it puts on the Hall of Fame for the university in partnership with the university. And so as a result of that, we're in our third decade of presenting the Hall of Fame ceremony. So this looks back, easy criteria. You have to have been an athlete at Howard. You have to have graduated or finished playing for at least 10 years.
Okay.
And hold either a record or distinguished accomplishments either at the Howard University or at the MEAC conference, and been recognized for those accomplishments. And so that's kind of it. Good citizen, a person who is in good standing with the university, and those basically are the criteria for being nominated and then being selected in a given Hall of Fame class. So that's kind of the purpose of it. What we have found out, though, and what is elevated to is one of those events that doesn't mirror homecoming, but is a lot like Charter Day, where you have alumni and some students that come back to honor those who played and supported the university and helped with its brand recognition. And so we often refer to athletics in general as the front porch of the university, because when you're on ESPN and in these channels, whether it's YouTube or any of the other media, you get thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of eyeballs on the Howard brand when we're participating. And, if you look at some of our teams, whether it's volleyball, basketball, the football team recently, they have been in major events that either in the NCAA tournament or in the Celebration Bowl in front of millions of people, and we do advertising on that to help support. And I think one of the byproducts of that, just not only just to the Hall of Fame to show you how significant this is, but if you looked at Howard University this year, I think we had over 37,000 people to try to get 2,700 seats in the freshman class this year. And I think that is we contribute that because of athletics. So that's one. But the other thing is really to honor our athletes, and we bring teams back that they haven't seen each other. I remember when we did the 1974 NCAA Division I soccer championship, the first and only Division I championship for an HBCU and for men. And you look at that and you say, wow, And when they came back and when we honored them, it was significant. And this year they're celebrating their 50th anniversary from winning that championship. And so those are the things. So people come back, there is camaraderie, it's friendship, it's family. And I know in my case, when I had the opportunity to go in 10 years ago, it wasn't a really big deal of mine, to be honest. It wasn't something that I did. I just, through some friends and stuff, decided to apply. But it wasn't about me. It's about your family. My sons came, my nieces came. I had, like 3 tables. And they were all like, I didn't know you did that. I thought that was just a whole bunch of smack around and stuff because, you exaggerated a lot. So we knew you played. My nephew said, I thought we just said that because you went to school and you were on the team. We didn't know you played, And you realize it's really a day for them because they really feel good about that. And I think that's, at the end of the day, that's the real purpose. We bring back friends, team members and their family and the greater Howard community into this event. And it's very special, but it's the relationships that have been probably disconnected for a while that get reconnected when we have these events. And that's probably the most significant thing. And the reason we like putting it on is because it's one of those really feel-good events that the university does with our support. That we think is special. So that's kind of the purpose, and I've given you the application process all in one. But that's my view of that. Tommy, you got any comments on that?
So the other purpose is to certainly acknowledge not only athletes but administrators and coaches and those supporters who feel the same way about athletics, and they didn't necessarily have to play, but we can identify those folks who are central to getting Howard athletics to where it is now, and it's the Howard community are folks who have been enshrined in the Hall of Fame. So that's certainly not just athletes, but an array of folks who've helped us come and help the university come to where it is now. And another part of that is certainly the identification of women athletes and of women administrators and of women coaches, because it's fairly recent that women and the NCAA and schools have embraced the female athlete, in part because it's a violation not to do so, but it was a violation. It had been. Folks knew well before Title IX that there should have been women's sports, and that wasn't the case. So I like the aspect of women being acknowledged at the Hall of Fame, because not only were we, and I just say rhetorically, we late to the party, but the women are fantastic. Not only are they just fantastic, we're fantastic students, but fantastic athletes too. And as we observe them at the Hall of Fame and note their accomplishments, it really does make us not only feel good, but give them the respect that they so deserve.
Right.
So Tonya, tell me this. So, why should we or anyone want to attend the Hall of Fame ceremony and banquet, and what is significance is it to to the university to have this banquet, to be able to honor student athletes and specifically women athletes as well?
Well, I think Bruce and Tommy said it best. Is it provides an opportunity to recognize the accomplishments that are oftentimes overlooked and perhaps overshadowed by other things that are happening within the university. But here you have these students that are committed, were dedicated, and not only excelling for what Howard is number one, prominently known for, which is their academics, but also being able to excel in their athleticism. So it's an opportunity to not only share within our Howard University communities, but within our family and friends as well, to say, hey, not only do we have Howard University scholars, but they are excelling in athleticism, and we want to recognize and acknowledge that. And as Bruce said, it's a wow factor. They're like, wow, I didn't know you accomplished all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So we may not get as much public and
lost you, Tonya.
as our predominantly white institutions do because of news, press, or coverage. But we can, and I think this hosting the Hall of Fame allows that opportunity for us to recognize and publicize our own accomplishments within the university. I think it's important for the university also to be aware of, hey, we do have an athletic program also that gives the university bragging rights and clout and make the university proud. People want to come to sporting events where their team is winning. And so if we showcase the abilities that and the accomplishments of our athletes, people will want to come and support the university. And by hosting the Hall of Fame, Bruce does an excellent job of saying, hey, the programs need funding in order to continue to excel. So it's also showcasing what the programs need in order to continue to achieve these accomplishments. And I think highlighting, as Tommy highlighted, the women's sports is a great segue into another annual event that, Bruce is at the helm, and that's why he's there, because he come up with these great ideas. He said, hey, we should do an event where we're just really focusing on the women sports and the women athletic programs. Howard University women sports have been making great strides and accomplishments, national accomplishments. Baseball, the softball team have been winning MEAC divisional championships, as well as the basketball team, not 1 year, but 2 consecutive years. And we wanted to focus specifically on their accomplishments because, as Tommy said, oftentimes we're the second stepchild, sort of like the cheerleaders were in the athletic department, right? The second child. And so Bruce said, hey, let's do an event to focus on and recognize and acknowledge the accomplishments of our women in sports. And we did just that this year in the spring in April. We held our first inaugural Bison Express Blue Tea event, where we honored and recognized women in sports at Howard University. We invited all of the 12 or 13 female sporting programs, recognized their accomplishments. Again, it was a wow factor for those in attendance, that they were not aware of some of the records that our female athletes at Howard University had achieved and broken and set. Some of the championships that they had won, golf team, the bowling team, yes. And we invited all of them, recognized them, families and friends that attended, throughout the event, the event of the day. You could hear the murmurs of saying, wow, this is fantastic. Wow, I didn't know that they had done that. It was a great time to fellowship, meet up with your former Howard University friends and families that you had met over the years. So it's a great thing. We are charged again by our lead to do this again next year. We plan to make this an annual event, another opportunity to focus on the accomplishments and to garner that continued support of women in sports at Howard University.
Okay. Well, and that kind of segues into the next thing we were talking about, is some of the events and activities that we have coming up. I know Blue Tea was something that was new this year, and Tonya, you kind of led the helm on that. And, it was a fantastic event. Explain exactly what is the Blue Tea event.
So yes, great question, Rob. What is the Blue Tea event? Well, the Bison Express Blue Tea event is, as I indicated, an opportunity for us to recognize the accomplishments of the women in sports at Howard University. And as the name implies, it was a tea. It was a tea setup. We asked or encouraged our to wear fedoras and fascinators to the event, dressing your fanciest blue Sunday best or any color thereof of Howard University, and just come and be prepared to really showcase and applaud the accomplishments of our female athletes at Howard University. And everyone engaged us. The men came out with their brims and their fedoras, and the ladies had on their fascinators and their beautiful dresses. A lot of them were in blue, some shade of blue, supporting Howard University. So it was just that. It was an event where the food was delicious, no complaints, full course meal there. We had a fashion show. We had a Howard University fashion show. You know, back in the 80s, you could not have homecoming without an Ebony Howard University fashion show event. So we thought we wanted to bring that to the Blue Tea event, and they loved it. We had participants from the sporting programs, the cheerleaders, current athletes at Howard University, show participants, and they modeled Howard University gear. We had children, members of the board, modeling fashions from our bookstore. Howard University bookstore was our supporter, and they provided the fashion, so we were grateful to them for their support of the event. We had a DJ, very own DJ Kevin Kev was in the house, and ain't no party like an HU party. So we had a lot of activities going on during that day, all to support the female athletes and the old Howard University way. And everyone thought it was a great event. It was outside of your normal tea type, but it had a tea theme. So, yeah. And we plan to do it again next year.
Now, I think the biggest thing is we dressed Tommy Payne up that day because he hadn't been in a suit in like 30 years. So that was amazing. He was dressed up for a change. I didn't even recognize him.
Tommy shot his attack boy.
But Rob, but I didn't recognize him. He showed up with a jacket. I said, wait a minute, ho, who's this? You know, I had a tie on. I almost had a heart attack. I swear. You know,
I'm a retired person, man. I'm retired.
So Tommy.
Retired. Sweatpants, t-shirts.
yeah, he had a Sunday best on, man. So no, it was. I must say, and to add to Tonya's thing, it was our first run at doing this. I thought the organizing committee did an excellent job with that.
Absolutely.
I think the most important thing was the athletic department really appreciated that. And we learned a lot of things because we wanted to use this to try to figure out what we could do better. And certainly our own self-critique, even though the people who were there, you know, said it was wonderful, we wanted to do it better to make sure the timing and everything was right around so we wouldn't have as many teams traveling and things like that because we want more participation in the event. But that said, I thought it was a great day, and I just thought it was fabulous, and we want to continue to try to do that because, like I said, honoring our female athletes is very important for us as a board, and we want to do so to make sure that they get their just due recognition for all of their accomplishments.
Yeah. And I think the other practical view is the student population, the makeup, the enrollment of the university has approximately 70% women.
Yes.
And it should be that we note and make sure that folks find themselves in the way in which they are represented at the university. So we look forward to next year for doing the same thing and making it bigger, better, and and so we hope that more folks from the Howard community will come out, as well as those students, coaches, and administrators there at the university.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let me just say one, and I know we kind of jumped back, but I'm not sure if we actually gave the date of the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
You know, the upcoming Hall of Fame is just right around the corner. November the 1st, 2024, Martin's Crosswinds out in what part of Maryland is that?
Greenbelt,
Maryland. I'm from County. So 7 to 11, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So that's Martin's Crosswinds, Greenbelt, Maryland, November the 1st, 2024. Your tickets for the event are online as we speak. You can go right to Eventbrite, search Howard University Hall of Fame, if that's one search method that you can use. You can also go to bisonexpress.org.
Yes.
That's bisonexpress.org and click on the little button that says Hall of Fame that comes on the
it's on the banner too. It's right on the banner.
Oh, it's right on the banner.
Right on the homepage.
Rob can tell you even more completely than I, because he's the one that developed all of that. And so, but you can get your ticket, and if it's, you know, by the end of July, there's the early bird ticket price, which is lower than the other prices. So if hopefully you are going to see this before July 31st or on July 31st, so you can get that early bird ticket. And you don't have to be a Hall of Famer. You don't have to be to know anyone in the Hall of Fame. You can just say, man, this is a wonderful event. I'll get a chance to see people I haven't seen before, folks I've heard about. You can come see Tonya and Bruce. And if you know them, and Rob, they'll be there. So that could be worth 200-300 tickets right there. So get your Hall of Fame, ticket by those ways that I just mentioned. And if you have some information, write in my name. You'll see info@bisonexpress.org. You can go ahead, send an email or suggestion to that address, and we'll get back to you.
And you know, one of the things about, you know, both the events, I mean, they're exquisite. I mean, it's top of the line. It's you know, when you come, you know that you have to be prepared to be around great people, but it's going to be such a great environment, and the food is fantastic, and everyone's dressed to the nines. I mean, it's an awesome event to attend. So it's just not something that's, you know, we put together and we didn't take the time to really put effort into it. It is a star-studded event. It's a really a time to really fellowship and meet all different type of people. Like when I attended the Blue Tea, for example, you got to meet people from all different age brackets that were, you know, engaged with the university and loved the university. So you don't necessarily have to be from, you know, any type of demographic, but just as long as you have that love for it and that passion for the university and the athletics program, you know, it's definitely an event you want to be able to come and really fellowship and community and be a part of the community itself. You know, Tonya, explain to us, you know, like why should someone that, you know, that is a former athlete or alumni come and attend the event?
Oh, yes, definitely for the Blue Tea event. As you said, Howard University events are always star-studded. The MC, the Mistress of Ceremonies for the Blue Tea event was Washington, D.C.'s own Leslie Foster, Channel 9 news anchor. So we bring out the best to make sure that the event is enjoyable. And those proceeds, as indicated, both of these events, the Hall of Fame and the Blue Tea event, are fundraising events so that we can gain proceeds to continue to help the athletic department. I failed to mention for the Blue Tea event, not only were we recognizing the teams, but we provided them with a memento so that they can be reminded of the recognition for that day, as well as financial support to go out and celebrate that team. You know, oftentimes we're always providing support for the team now and the future. But the blue team, we wanted to celebrate the accomplishments of that team. We provided financial support for that current team to go out and celebrate, go to a restaurant, go to a theme park with the finances that we provided for that event.
Okay. Just want to switch gears a little bit. We do also run other activities that try to support the university. Bruce, we ran last year. We did the first time we ran a Gimme 5 and Gimme 10 campaigns. Mm-hmm. Can you explain, why did we do it, and what was the significance of running that campaign, and some of the things that we were able to accomplish with that campaign?
Well, two things. One was the need that we need to continually have to find ways to fund the activities of the athletic department. So we wanted to support that. And we decided to do it in a way that we could get more people, because a lot of times people ask for 3 digits, 4 digits, 5 digits, the people Tommy Payne hangs around with, to write big checks and stuff. But we wanted to make this more of a community event and whatever. So, we wanted to do 5, and we'd ask people to give us $5. And then the follow-up to that was give me 10. And what, to our surprise, was we not only got people to contribute 5 and an additional 10, but we also got people that says, that's such a good event and stuff, and they donate a lot more than that. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest donation we had was in the thousands of dollars. So, but what we were aiming for was to build this relationship with the community, and so we could keep them abreast of what's going on in Howard Athletics. But then also, more importantly, to give people opportunity to contribute who thought maybe they couldn't afford to contribute and stuff. And this was a nice way to do that. So that was the sole purpose of that. And we thought last year's, the 2 events we had, the Gimme 5 and the Give Me 10, were very successful as a result of that. And we reached people that we don't normally reach, because a lot of the people who contributed, if I looked at the names and addresses, didn't necessarily have an associate with Howard, but thought it was a good idea to contribute.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome.
So that was the purpose of doing it. Go ahead, Tommy.
I think, Rob, we sometimes people forget, and especially we say small donors, but we needed to remind people that they are recurring expenses that the sports teams, band and cheerleaders have. Things that occur year after year after year, season after season after season. You need nutritional supplies all the time.
Right. You
need mats for the cheerleaders and uniforms, all the time. You need maybe cameras, those smart that you can use for practices to look at what the techniques are. You need those all the time. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, Tonya.
Transportation, van upkeep.
Yes.
Right. All the time. So those are recurring expenses that when we find folks in my ilk, those of us who are over 35, those of us who say, look, I gave $100. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you gave $100 last year. Okay. You gave, and you look at that in your own environment. You go to the store. You can go to Food Line if you want, or Safeway, or Giant, or Harris Teeter, and for $100. Okay, that's your meals for your family for a couple of weeks, but you will have to go back again for the rest of the month. Same thing with the athletic department and athletic teams. Whether you're a small number with bowling, again, you got to buy bowling balls. You have different people who have different sizes or hands. You got bowling equipment, all the way up to a large outfit like football, where you are bringing in recruits and you have to show them X, Y, and Z, and you have to have supplies for them. And so it is running the athletic department is it's a job unto itself. And Bison Express is using the funds that we get from members and those who enjoy our Bison athletics. We supplement. We do supplemental funding for the sports, band, and cheerleading teams.
Right. Yeah, Tommy. And I think you brought up a couple of interesting points. Is that, and let's look at nutrition for a minute. What we want to do is to provide our athletes with a healthy way that they can compete at the highest levels. Absolutely. This is not, I just want to win this, or we need to win the homecoming game and lose the rest of them and all of this. They need to be supported so that when they compete, because the goal is to win, it's not to lose. And everything that we could do to help them practice better facilities, great nutrition, good transportation, those kinds of things are not the primary things people consider, but they're very necessary if you want to compete for championships. And when you look across, especially the last 10 years, we've certainly won our fair share of championships, but at the conference level, and that's real important that we get the recognition. And so I think bringing the communities together and, and the Give Me Five was targeted to people who don't think they had a lot to give, that they could give and participate to help our community continue to grow, expand. And that was the whole purpose of it. And I think we accomplished that.
Yeah. And you know what? And even listening to you talk about transportation and the significance of that. I know we did a couple of years ago, we did a van drive to help with transportation, but even understanding that, all the facilities for some of our student athletes aren't located on site, that they have to go to different locations and transportate, get to those different places. Like we know freshmen can't have cars. So they have to get to those places as well. Right. So, I think that is, one of the, things that Bison Express brings to the table, really helping with those initiatives, the smaller things that we don't always think about. We just assume that they're readily available, particularly if you're coming from, maybe a state institution or anything along that lines where, everything is localized. So you just simply walk across campus and you're there, like University of Maryland or something to that effect. But with Howard University and some of our HBCUs, it's not always centralized and local there. And having these type of organizations provides tremendous value because now we have that supplemental way to be able to help our student athletes be the best they can be, Right.
Essentially, because most schools, especially in DC, if you look across all of the schools, PWIs, HBCUs that are located in Washington, D.C., we're all landlocked. So whatever you have. And if you couldn't figure a way to put an athletic facility in there or you waited, that could be a problem. So in terms of building, then you got all these building permits and everything else. In Howard's case, expansion, you're also right next to the reservoir, right? Absolutely. So any construction, and we're on the hill, reservoir's down, that's a consideration. So one of the things we're providing and getting agreements to practice for that sport off campus is really good. I mean, we're trying to do that as best, the teams try to do that as best they can. Okay.
Now the thing about Bison Express, we've we're not a standalone organization. We work with other organizations to, for the greater good of Howard. Tommy, can you talk about some of the partnerships and some of the relationships we have with the university as well as other organizations?
So the Bison Express is chartered under the development, the office there at Howard. We work with folks in development as well as in athletics because, that obviously those are where in athletics is where the sports teams are housed. Cheerleaders is a little different, but we certainly have them with under the umbrella as well as the band, which comes out of fine arts. So we are we work. We send our calendar, for example, to the athletic department and development to let them know what we expect to do, so that we don't step on toes, and they don't let us, that we may have planned an event where all the teams are playing someplace else next year, and we didn't know that. So we want to make sure that we send the information that we have and of what we want to do and when we want to do it. And for example, the next Hall of Fame, because we have Hall of Fame every other year. Mm-hmm. So we know that we'll have it in 24, and in 26, we probably will have it about the same time, November of 26. So we'll send that information to development and to athletics, so that we can see if that's a good time for us to have it. And if anything else is, we don't want to intrude on anything else. So those are two of the major the components of the university that we work with. And there are smaller groups. What we have now is the Mecca Society. And I'm thrilled about Mecca because it allows us to compete in the conference as well as other similarly placed schools to give name, image, and likeness funds to students, to athletes. So that's something that helps keep us, I think, in play, certainly athletically, to make sure that the teams, as constituted one year, can continue to be constituted similarly the next year. It doesn't always happen because of the transfer rules, but the Mecca Society is apparently, and it seems like it's working as much as we know what the rules are, overall, to keep athletes in the same on the same team at the same university, giving the name, image, and likeness rules and regulations that are spread about. You got 50 states, you got 50 different ways in which the interpretation is being made. And when the NCAA comes in and out with different criteria, but we are certainly in the forefront, as we normally are with anything, with the Mecca Society and the creativity of our coaches. And I got to really give them great credit, because they are creative in how they fundraise their own groups of people that they contact, and people who contact them, and give them information on how to make sure that we are up and running and as the number one athletic organization, certainly in the MEAC, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference.
Right. Tommy, I'd like to add if I could.
No, I can't add anything else.
I'm adding more stuff.
Hey, Tommy, that was perfect.
Yeah, the great segue. But anyway, but and Tonya's been well versed, and she'll chime in a minute. But one of the other groups that we've been working with and have been for the last 10 years is the Howard University alumni associations around the country.
That's right.
And they have put a big lift. We've had where teams travel. We've had receptions so they could meet the head coach and some of the teams. Mm-hmm. We've had tailgates at places: Atlanta, Chicago, Indianapolis, Hampton, yes, Philly, a lot of places.
Richmond,
where the alumni have come out, Las Vegas, and come out to supported our teams, and that's been good. We had a reception last year, remote. The volleyball team was down in New Orleans, and we had over 300 alumni come and meet and greet them and talk to them and show up at the game and supported them. And that's been a great way for when they travel to have the entire Howard University community both present and and alumni to come out and support the athletic department, which is what we like to promote. And that's been a really good partnership with our friends at HUAA. They've done an excellent job. And I know Tonya has an event that she wants to tell you about that we're participating in Baltimore.
Yeah, so as Bruce indicated, Bison Express has really been collaborating with all of the local regional Howard University alumni organizations or clubs to again put out the word that Bison Express support the athletic program, provide support to Bison Express so that we can continue. And as he indicated, that's being done through a lot of the watch parties, the sport watch parties, where if alumni or family and friends are unable to get to that event in person, we come together locally and watch the game and cheer on the team. One of the current or recent fundraising event that Bison Express is going to collaborate with is with the Baltimore Alumni Club, and they're hosting an annual crab feast. It will be August the 17th, that Saturday at Martin's West in Baltimore, and Bison Express is going to provide gift baskets for a silent auction to support the fundraising arm there, and they're giving back to the Howard University students of Baltimore. They also collaborate with the Howard County alumni. So we're getting alumni organizations together. Bison Express is collaborating with all of these by providing souvenirs, gifts for the participants, and encouraging the participants then to support financially Bison Express as well as the Howard Alumni Club.
Wow, that's excellent. That's excellent. Just shifting gears for a second. I know we've talked about all the wonderful things that Bison Express does and will continue to do. Now we have people that are watching this podcast and they're probably wondering, how can they get involved? How can they become members? Explain what that process is and where they can go to become a member at Bison Express.
All right, membership chair.
So you're going to throw me. So I'm going to throw it back to him. You just got to know Bruce. No. So actually, what we do is, of course, we want you to contact us. You can go to bisonexpress.org webpage. There's a email address, contact us. We also host different campaigns, as we call them, where we are out letting you know, hey, come to us. We have a link for you to provide a donation. Again, it's bisonexpress.org. There's a big donate button. If you're interested in participating, some of the criteria, of course, is that you are Howard University alumni, family and friends. There is a financial responsibility annual. Tommy, we want to say how much that is?
$100.
$100. Thank you. And you're a full-fledged Bison Express member with all of the rights and privileges thereof, which include continuing to support bisonexpress.org. The board meets monthly. We have a biannual meeting of membership. Bruce, you want to correct me on that?
Right.
Where we again are updating the supporters and community and members about the accomplishments of the Howard University athletic program and the contributions and the support that Bison Express has done over the year for that year, to let you know we are doing things to support the athletic program. It costs money. Here's what we have been investing in. So if you want to be a member, you can reach out to myself, Tonya.Wilbon@gmail.org. I will gladly get your information, give it to the infamous president there, and he will take you through all of that continued screening criteria.
Right. So I'd also like to add that, and if you have a business or you want to donate some money, we will take sponsorships too, because if you could also help us by underwriting, providing a place, you could underwrite some of the events we have, which would cut down our costs, because we want to ensure that all of the money that we raise goes to our athletes. And we don't spend a lot because we're out and because of online and things like that. It doesn't cost a lot to raise funds now, and we decided to do events that way. But the money, so no one from Bison Express, I want to make this clear. We're very transparent. We're an all volunteer organization.
Yeah.
Say it again, Bruce. Say it again, Bruce.
Yeah, and we are an all volunteer group, the 13 board members. And and if you looked at us collectively, our per annual contribution that we put into athletics is probably among the highest on an annual basis of giving than you will find in the university, because we're committed. Because we don't ask people to contribute, because at the board we're 100% we give. And so things like, for example, meetings. We have meetings, and last year we had a face-to-face meeting, an annual face-to-face meeting, and we did it on campus for free. And all the refreshments and things that we did, the board members contribute individually, so that we could have a little coffee and some what are called continental breakfast. But we did that. We did not take that out of the funds. I like to emphasize that, because this is not, we get in the games. When we have events, we pay to attend the events. We don't comp tickets, because the purpose is to generate as much money as we can for our student athletes. That's the most important thing, and we're committed to doing that. So you can be a sponsor if you'd like, and you can be a member. And our membership is really good. We people who like coffee, if you take one day off of getting the coffee, donate to Bison Express. You can do that 10 times a year. That's $100. We're right there.
Right.
Especially if it's Starbucks, it might be 7 times. So we're right there, and we're just asking people to help us out and be a member, and we're transparent. Now, where you can participate is, if you're a Bison Express member, we have our meeting, a monthly meeting every third Wednesday at 6:30. And people have called and says, hey, I want to participate. And as a member, you can. And you could ask questions and things. We're very transparent and stuff. And we go over, and we have fiduciary responsibility for this. And we've done that. And there's not one, we haven't had any arguments about, well, I donated this, where did it go? Because we're very transparent about what we do with the funds. We want to make sure that we're one of those people, because trust is the most important thing when people give. And this is one organization that you could trust, because that's what we do.
Excellent. Well, I think we're kind of getting towards the end of this episode of Bison Break. Any final words that you guys want to share, and would like to share regarding Bison Express, Howard University, and the athletics program? Tonya, I'll let you kick it off first.
Yes, first word is donate, support. Bison Express by bisonexpress.org. Hit that donate button, and be rest assured that your funds, you can designate which sporting program you would like to support. So definitely donate, support bisonexpress.org, in knowing that we are supporting Howard University athletic programs, including cheerleading and band, to the fullest of our potentials.
Tommy, anything you'd like to add?
So even though we like money, we like cash, we like making sure that you are able to hit that donate button, and it goes into a fund that you designate, whether it's whatever the sporting team is. But if you have something that's in kind, maybe it's not cash, maybe you have a particular skill, maybe you are an accountant, or you are an attorney who wants to help us as we converse with sponsors. And if you are someone who does, let's say, event planning, or if you just whatever your skill and specialty is, and you would like to donate that to us, or talk about how that could be beneficial, not only to Bison Express, but if it's beneficial to the university and to the athletic department as a whole, that would be greatly desirable and helpful, and we would enjoy immensely looking at a way in which we can, if you don't want to give us that $1 million, give us $1 million worth of your time, your expertise in whatever it is. We'd love that. And the most important thing is that the end users will be our athletes, and they will be the beneficiaries of what you have chosen to give to us. Thanks.
Absolutely. Bruce.
Yes. Well, finally, I don't know if I can say anything. It's interesting that Tommy started off by saying you can do it in kind, but we'd like $1 million. You know, it's typical of his upbringing and how rich he is. Against the rest of us. I'm in the city guy. You know, $10 was like a year's salary. So, yeah, I'm just saying that, Rob. So we'll leave that there. But on a serious note, to be very honest with you, I think we're a good organization. If you have any questions, we'd love to, send the, info at bisonexpress.org. We will reply. We are very quick to reply on that. We'd also like to engage and take your thoughts on some things that you've seen other places that we could benefit from. So we don't have a problem stealing shamelessly if it's a good idea. And that, if you want to collaborate, because there are a lot of ways that we may not have thought about collaborating with someone that you might think could be beneficial, and we'd love to talk to you about those. Other than that, I think we've probably talked about everything about the organization. But remember, Bison Express, right? The charter to raise money for Howard Athletics. Good group with people who love the university, all volunteer group. And that's all I got to say, Rob.
All right. Well, I really thank you guys for jumping onto this podcast today. I know you guys are usually behind the scenes making everything work, but today you took the time to really explain what Bison Express is, because everyone doesn't always necessarily know exactly how, what we've done over the years and how we are passionate about the university, how we are really vested in make sure our student athletes get the most out of their opportunity that lies before them. So we really appreciate for you guys stepping out and sharing your experience and really walking us through what the Bison Express is. So thank you all for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, and we got some more 1970 stories, man. We got stories.
We got Tommy. We're going to have to bring that out too.
We got Nifty 50 and Dust Bowl stories. Dust Bowl stories forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was a whole bunch of stuff. So now we got plenty of stories, but we won't go into them now.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today for this first episode of season 2 of the Bison Break, presented by Bison Express. You definitely can follow us on bisonexpress.org. We're on social media. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as well. Please share the content that we are displaying on social media. We definitely want to make sure we are able to maximize all the opportunities in front of us to, reach all of our users on social media or just in the digital landscape. My name is Rob Black Jr., and I see you the next time on Bison Break. See you then.